Hey guys, I realized I haven't been updating on this project, and so I was going to do a quick update on it. Yes, it's not finished yet still. If you step out of this room, you can look. Basically, I took everything out of this closet and I built the sound enclosure to fit inside of the closet, and it still sticks out almost a foot. Now, if I wouldn't have utilized this old closet, then it would be taking up a huge amount of space in my lab here. I call it my lab because it's got everything I need. But so yeah, I've got this much of the sound enclosure done. I don't even know if I did a video on the sound enclosure or not. Yeah, it's a mess in here. I'm too busy to pick up half the time. But yeah, here's my sound enclosure. It's just, what is this? 1/2-inch plywood and a 1/2-inch dry, 2 layers of 1/2-inch drywall, and use liquid nails to stick it all together, and it makes a super tight and real nice seam in most places. A couple places I was a little off, but I've got like 10 tubes of window caulk that when I get a little closer here, I'm going to seal everything. And it's all about keeping the sound in, and that's why drywall is good for sound, is because it's, you know, the old E equals MC squared. So mass will, the more mass something has, the more dense it is, the more energy it can stop. So this dense drywall stops a lot of sound energy, and so that's why I went with drywall. That, and it was super cheap, and it's super easy to work with. I've got the front door area all cut out, and it's not going to have a window at all. It's all going to be done by webcams. I'm going to have 2 web cameras in there to monitor the CNC machine. And really, we're the only, you know, it looks bad right now because I got it all taken apart, but everything for the CNC machine, well, everything of the main components of the CNC machine is finished, except for I am working on the base, and it's screw terminal here. I had the base and its screw terminal and everything about it finished, and then I was working on the bracket for the stepper motor. Here it is. So these are big stepper motors. I think these have like 20 pounds of force, but yeah, I was working on finishing up the bracket for the stepper motor. And then I realized that the damn, this bed was not going to clear the motor at all. I mean, it was, it just wouldn't clear the motor with everything put together by 6 millimeters. So, what I'm doing now is, these are the blocks that hold the screw block bearing blocks, and I've been sawing those. I'm almost through it. I'm sawing about 7-8 millimeters off of the bottom to lower it by 7 to 8 millimeters, and I've already got picked out the shims to accommodate that for this bolting to the bottom, which you can see is these holes right here. That's where it bolts to on the bottom. And I already had one shim in there from the get-go, but now that I got to lower it, I've got to put another shim in there to accommodate for how much I'm lowering it now. But besides that, that's the only thing I'm working on. I got to finish sawing these off, and I got to drill the holes in the shims I've already got picked out for that. And then I can put it together and it's done. And I mean, everything up here, this has all been aligned to the exactness I could fucking get to. This stepper motor's on. the stepper motor and screw for the Z-axis. The gantry is all, I mean, it's taken apart, but it's all been together and it's all finished. All it has to do is be bolted back on, and that's done, or that much of the sound enclosure is done. So yeah, and then on top of that, you know, yeah, I don't have these wires ran or nothing, but I do have, I'm not sure where it is, but I do have a hard drive that has Linux CNC already installed and already booted up for this computer. So if I want to switch back to Windows, I can. It's on a different hard drive. So I already got Linux CNC booted up. And then for a while here, I've already had this is the whole board that contains all the electronics. You got your 3 stepper drivers, power supply. This is the main board. It's mostly wired up except for to the stepper motors and stuff. And they're all mounted on a board with these nice big 12-volt fans. They're going to be blowing on them. And this is connected by this kind of cable, which I bought a card for that. And it's already installed in my computer. And then I got a nice long cable for it. And so yeah. And then I got all the stuff to put together. I got this, which is the super quiet air compressor. It's going to get tucked underneath, and that's going to run my coolant mister. And I got all the hoses and the cooling systems, and that's the pump for the coolant for the mister. And I bought some cheap shit, and then I changed my mind, and I just bought this what is this shit? Cool Mist. That's the brand name. That's the coolant I bought for it. And then I found this in the shed. This is the old transmission cooler radiator that I never did use. I bought years ago and I never used it. So I'm going to use that for the coolant for the water cooled spindle. It's going to run through that little radiator, and I'll probably put a fan on it too, a 12-volt fan. See, this has been my house ever since I've been working on this project. I got a fucking drill press on my kitchen table. A drill press and all this junk. This blower crapped out. The motor crapped out. That's why it's sitting there. I need to get rid of it. But yeah, and I also have several tiles. These are ceiling tiles, and they're super cheap if you get the cheap ones. And they're rated at different sound dampening ratings. The cheap ones are rated at 30% sound dampening, and they got some that are rated at really high sound dampening, but they're too expensive. They're ridiculously expensive. But yeah, I got a whole package of these cheaper ones, and they're going to get added on to it too, I think, if I can find room or if I feel like messing with it. This is all the door pieces, and they're already cut out. Each piece, I don't know if you can see that because it's so dark, but each piece is already cut out for the door. And I mean, and I got the hinges and the latches and all that stuff for the door, but I'm not even going to mess with the door until I got the CNC machine completely together and put into the box, because I might have to make some adjustments here and there because the stepper motors are going to stick out too far. So or they might stick out too far, so I'm going to have room for adjustments. So I haven't even messed with putting that door together. And if you guys remember, I was talking about I was going to make a fuel injection management control system from scratch. Well, I'm still working on the oxygen sensor, but the end goal is to run this. This is and I've got the fuel injectors too. This is going on my big black Chevy. I'm converting it to fuel injection once I get the circuit finished. And I'm almost ready to etch my first circuit for the fuel injection, or not for the fuel injection, for the oxygen sensor circuit board. Because if you remember, where is it? No, not that. There it is. This was my original oxygen sensor circuit, and that's the Bosch chip. I could never get that chip to work, and the reason being is they changed either their bootleg from China, or they changed the communication protocols in different revisions of the chip, and I could never communicate with the damn chip. So what I did was I back engineered it from all the information I could find, and I built my own circuit from scratch. All digital, all feedback controlled digital circuitry, whereas this is actually an analog current balancing circuit, and some pretty low tolerances for the components in there. So my circuit that I've designed is going to be at the very least 30 times more accurate, and then I've switched to, instead of that Bosch, or instead of that 4.2, I'm switching to and only focusing on the LSU 4.9 oxygen sensor, which is much more accurate and holds its accuracy over time much better than the 4.2. So it's almost like no reason to even get the 4.2. Plus it works differently than the 4.2. So I'm probably just, my new circuit, I designed it to only handle, well, not really. It can handle a 4.2 model, but I'm probably not even going to put that in to the software. But yeah, it's going to be way more super precision, and I've got I don't know if I got them laying around here, but I've got 3.5 inch color touchscreens for my oxygen sensor interface, and just all kinds of shit going with this oxygen sensor thing. I'm like going full bore on the oxygen sensor gauge thing, because I believe I can sell them and make a bunch of money. And so I've been really focusing on the oxygen sensors lately, because there's a bunch of money available in that sector if I get this project finished. Screw the Bosch chip, my custom shit's way better. It's going to have GPS, color touchscreen, and everything. It's going to be the only one on the market in that category, and it's going to be like the cheapest thing on the market too at the same time. So it's going to be interesting. It's hopefully going to make me a bunch of money. So I got so many projects that you know, you just gotta say, hey, which one's gonna make me money and which one's gonna make me money the fastest. And yeah, the oxygen sensor thing is winning that battle for the moment. So, but that shouldn't take too much longer. I will be cutting out my first prototype circuit board probably tomorrow night. I should be finishing up the circuit board design tonight. It's almost done. And then it's going to be just totally different than this thing. And then yeah, it'll be it might be a monster once I get it done. But yeah, I just wanted to let everybody know what's going on with the CNC machine. I I just got burned out on this project. I mean, I'd been working on it for so long and so hard that I got burned out on it. I think I put like at least 2 hours in the sawing this fucking piece right here. This is the two different blocks squished together in a clamp, and I'm almost through it. So once I get that sawed off, and then I gotta take the shims that I've already picked out and found the correct size of, and I just gotta drill the 4 holes so these can go through and up to here. But man, I'm right there, man. It's so there. I had a huge problem of breaking taps. I broke like 4 or 5 taps, and when you break a tap off in the steel, getting that son of a bitch out is a fucking nightmare. So I've had a lot of delays because of broken taps and just my inexperience with tapping shit. And so yeah, it's getting there. Alright guys, I guess I'll end this later.